Hello everybody, and today I am back with another Igor editor tutorial, and today we are going to be doing anti-tank rocket requirements and demo charge requirements for missions. Basically, we're going to be scripting if you have objectives to destroy tanks or lay demo charges in areas, gonna be scripting how to basically get a mission failure if you run out of those. So it's very similar to the end mission scripting video I did with, counters, timers, stuff like that. So if you can do that, it's not too far out. It's just a little bit different. But yeah, speaking of those things, we have to start by creating a whole bunch of tags. And I'm gonna do the anti-tank rocket requirements, and then I'm gonna do the demo charge requirements, which both of them, they pretty much have the exact same scripting. It's just you use different counters and different objectives for them. So we're gonna do the anti-tank rockets first. So first, we'll get some enemy tanks down just to have something to destroy. So we'll go with 2 tanks, but later, when we get to other stuff later, you'll see that you can really do as many tanks as you want. You can't have as many objectives as you want, though. You can only have 4 objectives, but there is stuff for removing objectives, adding objectives, so I'm sure you could do something with that. That'll probably be another video, but anyway. Yeah, we got our 2 tanks right here. I guess we'll name them something. I guess Tank 1 and Tank 2 up here. Just to make it a little easier to identify them instead of a bunch of numbers. So there you go. You got your tanks. I could do objectives, but that's part of the end mission scripting. Okay, we might do some other stuff with objectives, but we'll actually get the requirements done here. So, we have several things to create in tags. First, you want to create an anti-tank rockets required counter. The counter that's going to count how many rockets are needed to finish the mission. And you can name all these tags whatever you want. Just make sure you can remember it. AT rockets require. My god, I have to have my keyboard off to the side because I gotta have a freaking notebook, a mic, and a keyboard all up in here. There we go. AT rocket requirement counter. And yeah, it's under counter, so we'll add that. And then you want check AT rockets counter, which is going to check how many rockets the player platoon has left. And we'll get into that stuff later. AT rocket. Check AT rockets counter. Then we have a check timer. So you go to timer. AT rockets check timer. And then we need to add the player platoon, which I've done, I think, in several other videos. Platoon reference, and then player platoon. And this is for recognizing the player's platoon as the player platoon. You'll see later. Although if you've watched a lot of my other Igor stuff, you'll probably already know how to do this. So there you go. You got your anti-tank rocket requirement counter, anti-tank rockets check timer, check anti-tank rockets counter, and then your platoon reference. So that's all the tags you need for the anti-tank stuff. And now we get to the scripting. So our first script is going to be you get a new block, and then you make the trigger event startup. Then we go to, we set the counters. Counter set, where is it? Yeah, counter set. And then we set the, this is where you set however many tanks that need to be destroyed. The anti-tank rocket requirement counter. And so we only have 2 tanks, but if you had 3, 4, 5, however many need to be destroyed, that's what you set the value for this. So we have 2. We have to destroy 2 tanks because there's nothing else that's going to destroy them because we're the only ones on the map, or going to be. And you could have way more vehicles than the counter. Like the scripting, the mission I looked at to get all this is Zebra Straw, the 8th mission, where you have to destroy 2 pieces of artillery. But there's like, I think 2 other tanks on the map that don't have anything to do with it, so the number of vehicles actually on the map doesn't matter. The scripting is all that matters. So you set your requirement counter to however many vehicles need to be destroyed. Then you set your other counter, the check anti-tank rockets, to 0. And then you do the set player variable set platoon. I believe, yeah, you go player platoon, the tag you created, the platoon reference, and then you go to query, get actor platoon, get player platoon. There we go. Set player platoon to the player control platoon. So the game can recognize what that your platoon exists in game. And we have to do that because we're going to be checking how many anti-tank rockets our platoon has, so the game has to recognize it. So there we go. That's the first command, or the first block. Just setting everything up, setting the counters and the platoon. So then we go to, we create another block. And this one, what is this going to be? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Okay, this is for, I think this is for checking. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, this is for checking the amount of rockets you have as a platoon. So and this is going to be firing like every 5 seconds throughout the entire mission. So you go, your trigger event will be time elapsed, and the 8th mission had 5 seconds, so I'm just going to have 5 seconds. It can be really whatever you want. So every 5 seconds, this whole thing is going to be triggered, which, in order to have it do that, the first response is going to be block preserve, so it can be reactivated, and this is just going to be reactivating every 5 seconds, pretty much, from when you start the game. So then after that, okay, after preserve block, or block preserve, how do I say that? Block preserve. After that, your second response is going to be a continue if command, and then if you watch the mission, the end mission scripting, this is where shit gets wild. When continue if shows up, things get weird. We go to edit under query. That specify we're not going to be using that, so we go to edit. Then we go to edit query for the continue if, and then under that query you set it to compare integers, and then value 1. Value 1 is going to be, you go under query again for value 1, and then you get counter, and you set that counter to the anti-tank rocket requirement. And then we're done with value 1. Then value 2, value 2 is you're going to go into query again. And this time you're going to go to platoon anti-tank rocket count, and then you set the platoon, the tag, to player platoon, and that's why you needed to make sure the game recognized that tag as your platoon earlier on startup. So, and then equality is greater than. We want that to be greater than. So what we got right here is every 5 seconds this is going to be fired, and then we have this little requirement for it to continue. Continue executing responses if the value of anti-tank... oh shit, that wording's a little weird. The value of anti-tank rocket requirement counter is greater than the number of anti-tank rockets available to the player platoon. So basically, if you need to destroy 2 vehicles and you only have 1 rocket, this is going to continue because this will be greater than this. And it's within your entire platoon. So there, that's that. And then after that, now this is where, because in mission 8 it had kind of a double check system, but if you want to, like, once this fires, once you have fewer anti-tank rockets than what's required, it's game over. So if you want to do the quick way, as soon as this fires, you could just go to declare mission failed, and then type not enough anti-tank rockets. Not enough anti-tank rockets, and register mission failure. And there you go. That's how it's done. At least for failing. And that's just a one-check system. And this should all... Yeah. Well, that's actually for failing the mission. We still have to set the counters to go up and down when you destroy stuff. Oh yeah, this way, in this version, we don't even have to have the check anti-tank rockets counter, because the double check is not here, but I guess we'll go with the double check. I'm not sure why they did it that way, because that way is much faster, but I think this just kind of... It gives a little bit more time between when you fail the mission and run out of rockets. It's like a couple seconds before. So if that's the quick way, you immediately after you do the continue if, you just do declare mission end or declare mission failure. But if you want to do the double check system, then after continue if, you would put you would add another response and make it counter increment. And then this is where the check anti-tank rockets counter comes in. You go increment that, and we set this to 0 at the start, so this is going to go up to 1. And then after that, you would add timer set anti-tank rockets check timer, and you would set that, the 8th mission had that at just 1 second. And then that is that entire block if you want to do it the long way. Okay, so the next block, I'll go back over this and explain what the hell's going on here, or try to at least. But this is just all right from a notebook page that I wrote down. This is pretty complex. So the next block is going to be, the trigger event is going to be that timer, the timer expired that you set up in the previous block. So timer expired, anti-tank rockets check timer, that expires, then that checks, causes all this to happen. Then we go block preserve again in this. And then we do another continue if command, which gets wild again. Continue if. We go to query. Compare integers again. Value 1 will be... You go to query again in value 1 as well. Get counter. And the tag for that will be the check anti-tank rockets counter. and then value 2 will be 2. And this is basically the double check system, because as soon as this counter... Ah, shit, this is hard to explain. I'll just keep going on, and then I'll try to explain it later while I'm not trying to do this at the same time. So you set value 2 to 2. And this is basically how many checks it does before it ends the mission. And then you go, this is, you could do equal to, but the other mission is greater than or equal to. So equal to or greater than. As long as it fires when it gets to 2, that's fine. So there we go. They're done with that one. So continue executing responses if the value of check anti-tank rockets to counter is greater than or equal to 2. And it increments every time we don't have enough rockets to finish the mission. So it basically fires like a whole bunch of times. This is all a little bit unnecessary, but this is just the way it's done in game. So I might as well do it that way. And then 3, the third response in here, is basically the same thing we did already. Where is it? Declare mission failed. There we go. And register a mission failure. And then the final response will be block remove, since we had this up here, I think. So yeah, that's the long way to do it. The quick way is just in the first one you do, you don't need the check type, the check counter, and you don't need the check timer. You just need the requirement counter for the first version, the easier version. But that's the long version. That's how it was done in the mission itself, Zebra Straw. And that should be everything set up. Now we have to make sure the integers line up, so when we destroy one tank, we don't lose, because we don't have enough anti-tank rockets. So now we have to set up the death of those vehicles. So you go start a new block, you go to death vehicle, and you select either one of your tanks, or however many vehicles, whichever one you want. So as soon as tank 1 is destroyed, then we counter increment. No. The other one, decrement. And we do anti-tank rocket requirement counter. And on startup, remember, we set that to 2. So once this tank is destroyed, the requirements will be lowered to 1. Because we don't need that rocket anymore. The tank's gone. And if you're doing objectives, there's more to do with this. But for the mission failure stuff, this should be all you need to do. Just decrement that rocket requirement counter as soon as the tank's gone. And then you do the other one the exact same way, except you just go to get the other vehicle tag. There we go. Tank 2. Counter decrement. Anti-tank rocket requirement counter. Decrements. There we go. That's all that. Okay, holy moly. And I think... Oh yeah, we still have to set up all this stuff. Okay. Single player. Yeah, demolitions. Yeah. That should be good. I already set up the insertion zone. Oh, and if you want to make a mission where it's required, you would go to, where is it? I think view? No, edit, briefing, and then you have these 4 boxes right here where you can check recommended or required. And in this case, we want required, because that's the only thing in the mission. So, now we save that. open Ghost Recon, and we should be able to destroy both those tanks. We don't have any objectives set up, so we're not going to get any feedback on you destroyed this.
Early report.
And if you try to start a mission with a rifleman, we set it to required, so we have to get guys with anti-tank equipment. Here you go, set that guy. Give him anti-tank stuff, and here we go. So we spawn in. Ooh. And we have 3 shots with this. Oh yeah, we don't even need to hit the tanks, because there's no objective, so it's not the point. So, there we go. Now we have 2 left. And the anti-tank requirement counter is at 2. So if we fire that. There we go. And there we go. Ran out of rockets, mission failure. So if we go back, and I'll just show everything. And so if we destroy one tank and not the other, and I waste all my rockets again, it should do the same thing. And I think that double check system, like that entire extra block with the check tag and the check timer, I think that's just for, I guess, just safety. I'm not sure, because you can do it the other way, the way I showed you, like right off the bat. And that works the same way. And the timer, the thing pops up way faster. So, there you go. We destroyed one tank out of rockets. There we go. Not enough rockets. There we go. So that's how that's done. I guess I'll script it to. I'll script it to do the other thing too, where it's. I'll script it the quick way. So yeah, we still need to have those death vehicle decrements. Timer expired. Yeah, we want... That's the check. Wait. Okay, yeah, this is the one we want to get rid of. So we get rid of that. And we get rid of the check timer. Oh, okay, we have to. We get rid of that, we get rid of that. And now we should be able to, yeah, get rid of the check timer and the check counter, which we can't yet. That's referenced somewhere else. Oh, it's referenced right here. Yeah, so we can remove that in the startup command. Tags, check counter. And now we go back to here. So yeah, all that you really need is this right here. Allow block to be reactivated, which is why it triggers every 5 seconds, and then continue executing responses if the value of the rocket requirements counter is greater than the amount available to the player. So, and then after that we would just add mission failed. Not enough rockets. Display that. And I guess just to be safe, we'll do a block remove since we have a block preserve up there. And that should work the exact same way. And it should work like way faster too, because there's not a whole bunch of extra stuff in there. So yeah, we'll try that out. And then I guess I'll try and go through it. Well, I already deleted it. Oh, hopefully all that was made sense. But it's pretty complicated with all this stuff. I got like almost a full page of notes on this. But yeah, we'll... Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Nope. We'll waste all these rockets. 1 off, 2 off. There we go, not enough rockets. Mission failure. So, yeah, and it should work if I destroy one tank and then waste the rest of my rockets. It should work the exact same. So, yeah, that way, the first way I showed you is far faster than the second way, which you saw right there. And you have to do one less entire block of scripting. You don't have to do... you don't have to add a check timer, a check tag, or a check timer and a check counter. And yeah, it's just way easier. Although there might be stuff that might go wrong later if you have a whole bunch of stuff going on, which is why they added that extra block in the first place. So I guess it's good to know how to do either way, just in case. But hopefully that all made sense. And now we'll go do the demo charges, which is very, very similar. Like, it's pretty much the exact same. You just have to add zones and stuff like that instead of other stuff. So we'll do 2 demo charge things. We could do one over here. So to do the demo charges, you need to add a zone of where the demo charge needs to be placed. So we'll have one need to be placed kind of anywhere right between these 2 tents, right there, and that will be tent charge, I guess tent charge area, whatever. So that'll be the first area a charge needs to be placed. And I guess there's a pipeline on this map. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a little pipeline thing. So we'll add another zone. Right, I don't know. Want to blow up a pipeline? Do whatever. Pipeline charge. So there we go. That's our 2 zones for the demo charges. And now we go to script again, and yeah, we need to do a couple more tags. I think just one more tag, because I'm gonna do this the quick way. So the one counter tag, and then that will be the demo charge requirement counter. I felt like I spelled something there wrong, but whatever. Demo charge requirement counter, anti-tank rocket requirement counter, same thing, different names. So now we go. Oh, and again, it's the same exact stuff. You do a block, you set the startup as the trigger. Then in the response for demo charges, you do the exact same thing. You do counter set demo charge requirement counter, and you set that to 2 because we need 2 charges, one for the tent, one for the pipeline. And again, if you 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many charges that are needed, you just set that counter to it, the requirement counter. So there we go. That's all set up. And then I don't think we can. We'll have to create a new block for that. But again, it's the exact same thing. The trigger is time elapsed 5 seconds. First response, block preserve, allow it to be reactivated over and over again. Then you go to the continue if command. You go to query, compare integers. Value 1 is going to be your demo charge requirement or AT rocket requirement. Doesn't matter. You go to get counter. Then tag, demo charge requirement counter. Then value 2 is going to be the player's amount of stuff, which are already in here. The platoon anti-tank rocket count and the platoon demo charge count. So there we go. Not all parameters have been initialized. What? Oh yeah. The number of demo charges available to player platoon, our platoon that we set earlier. So there we go. the value of demo charge requirement counter is equal to... Oh, no, we want to set it to greater than. The value of demo charge requirement counter is greater than the number of demo charges available to the player platoon. And that's a mission failure. As soon as that happens, it's over. So there we go. We set that up, and then we do the exact same thing. Declare mission failed. Not enough charges. And then just to be safe, we do block remove. And there we go. And now we do the exact same thing, except instead of doing death vehicles, you would do, for the trigger response, demo charge placed, location, the zones you set up and named. So pipeline charge and range doesn't really matter too much. I guess we'll go 5 meters. 5 meters within pipeline charge. And then for this, you do counter decrement because the charge is placed. You don't need another one. Counter decrement, and then you decrement the demo charge required, just like the vehicles. And then you do the exact same thing for the other one. Tent charge. Counter decrement demo charge. There we go. So now, as soon as we place the charge, it will go down by 1. The requirement will go down by 1. So if you have 3 in total, you place 1, it goes down to 1. You waste 1, the counter is still at 1. So if you waste that last one, then you'll fail. So that's how that works. And there you go. 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. There we go. Let's try it. And we should... It's the same exact thing. You just hit demo charges required. And that's not even necessary. You can have these off. It doesn't matter, really. That's just for, you know, letting the player know if they've never played the thing before. Like, hey, you need this for the mission. So yeah, we will get a guy with anti-tank rockets and a guy with demo charges. And fail the mission repeatedly. So there we go. I got 2 demo charges, 3 anti-tank rockets, and yeah. So yeah, we're the demo charge guy. So we'll place this right off the bat. Not enough charges. Perfect. And I think I'll show you what happens if you do place all the charges, because it should decrement all the way down to 0, which means it's impossible for that other thing to fire. Because if the counter's at 0 and you're at 0, then it's not greater than. So the tent should be right here. The tent charge. Oh, I didn't set up the objective, so we can't tell, but that decremented the counter, which is why we didn't fail the mission yet. And now we'll go all the way over here, place the second charge at that the pillar holding up the pipeline. And then that should not fail us either, because that would bring the requirement counter down to 0. Oh my god, 34 minutes. Whew. 35 minutes. Holy moly. It should be... Yeah, it should be this one right here. And that should not fail the mission, right? Yep. Yeah, there you go. And if I had those all objective, if I had them scripted for objectives, they would be complete too, so yeah, that's pretty much how all that's done. And I guess I could yeah, I think I'll do, because you can only have 4 objectives. So if you have like a whole bunch of stuff to place and a whole bunch of things to destroy, you don't want to have all 4 be just destroying stuff. Like this, we have 2 tanks to destroy and 2 charges to destroy. And basically we can we can merge all those into either one objective or two objectives. One for placing the charges, one for destroying the tanks, and also one for all four of them. So I think I'll script that quick. And for that, I think we need to... I think I'll just do all... I'll put them all into one. So, to do that, you would go to script, objectives, you'd create a new objectives. And this is a tag. So it's going to show up in your little... in the tag thing in the scripting, in the whole scripting area. So, this objective... destroy tanks and... place place charges. Destroy tanks, place charges. And that is going to be the name. Oof. Okay, let's have that objective 1. And then we'll have destroy tanks and place charges as the description. Just to make things easy. Alright. So there we go. Our tag is there and it will show up in game. So now we go to edit again. And I think we're going to need an extra counter. Yeah, we're going to need a counter for this. And I think another continue if command. So yeah, we'll create another counter, make that objective 1 counter. Ah, Jesus. There we go. Add that. Now we have that counter. And now we script this. This is going to be very similar. So the trigger event for this is going to be... Actually, we could probably just do this on startup. This entire thing. Okay, well, yeah, we'll set the objective counter. Counter set. Yeah. Objective counter. Oh, shit. Well, that should be like objective 1 counter. But we'll set that to 0. And since there are 4 things, we're going to end up doing a continue if command, pretty much bringing it up to 4, making it fire when we get up to 4. So there we go. We set the counter to 0. And then for each one of these objectives, we basically increment that objective counter by 1. So we'll add response, increment counter, counter increment, objective counter. There we go. That brings that up by 1. And we'll do this for each one of the charges and tanks. Yep. Objective counter. Death vehicle. There we go. One more time. Oh, damn, that's like the 4th time in a row I went for that one. The edit one first. The trigger edit first. Objective counter. There we go. So now, each one of these objectives is going to increment that objective counter by 1, which by the end, when we do all 4, it'll be up to 4. So now, we copy this pretty much. The time elapsed for either one. So we do, to make the objective fire, we do a, time elapsed, and do every 5 seconds. So it's going to check every 5 seconds, just like the other one. Block preserve to allow it to fire again and again. Then we go to continue if. Continue if. Query compare integers. Value 1, query, get counter, objective counter. So the value, so when the value of objective counter is equal to 4, so we don't even have to change this one. So there we go. This is going to fire every time until, or this is going to loop until this objective counter is equal to 4. And then as soon as it is, we declare... I think we can do an objective complete, because this is just one objective. Should be a... Oh, hold on. Yeah, objective complete. Objective 1. Mark objective 1 complete in the objective list. There we go. There we go. And, I guess we could, yeah, remove block, since that would be all we need it for. So that's how you would script the entire objective. So now we'll go back in, do all that, plant the charges, destroy the tanks, and that should show up. The little black box should show up and basically say that's complete.
That the centrist forces
There's our objective.
in their fight with the
Alright, we'll get demo charges. Anti-tank rockets. And we'll do this. So yeah, that's a lot of talking. All this seems very simple until I try to explain it. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not crazy. At least not to me, since I've like done this several times already. But now, okay. Objective counter should be at 1. And the other counter, the tank requirement counter, should be at 1 as well, because it went down.
Got a tank.
Where? Oh. Spotted it through the rock, I guess. There we go. Now the objective counter should be at 2. And the tank anti-tank rocket requirement should be at 1. I mean 0. So now if we waste this rocket and bring ourselves down to 0, the amount of rockets our platoon has, nothing should happen, because the value of our platoon rockets is not greater than 0. And that's what the requirement is at now, since both tanks are gone. And now after that's placed, the objective counter should be at 3. And the demo charge requirement counter should be at 1. And then we'll go place the second charge. That'll bring the demo charge requirement down to 0. And the objective counter up to 4, which will trigger the objective to be completed. So yeah, that's scripting for you, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully it made sense. I kind of felt like I was going a little bit off the rails at the beginning part, doing the long way. It kind of felt like I was going a little bit off the rails there, but the easy way is pretty simple with that continue if stuff. There we go. We placed that. Destroy tanks and place charges. Objective complete. There we go. We should not fail the mission, because everything's at 0 and nothing is greater than the requirement. And yeah, there we go. So that's that objective complete. Destroy the tank, place the charges. Alright, I've been going for 45 minutes. Jesus, these... Okay, I usually do these expecting them to be like half an hour tops, but I guess not. Whoa, alright. So, yeah, I should probably end this pretty quick. I wanted to run through it, but I already did it like 3 times, though. I did it the short way by accident. I did it the long way. Then I did it the short way again for both of these. And then I went a little above and beyond with that objective scripting. But that should be that for setting up rocket requirements and demo charge requirements for your mission. And making sure you fail when you run out of the proper amount. It's all about counters and continue F. Continue F and counters seems to be the backbone of all this scripting stuff. Because you don't really need a lot of timers. You need a couple timers, but, you know, I said you needed to create like a check counter and a check timer. You didn't need to create either of those to do the fast way. So yeah, hopefully all that made sense. hopefully it was somewhat easy to understand. Hopefully I did a good job explaining it. But it's pretty complicated. And it's also a lot a lot harder to actually like explain it verbally rather than just do it in my head. But yeah. So if you made it here, thank you for watching. If you watch any of my other stuff, thank you for watching that as well. And if you have any questions, I'll try and answer those. I might need to make a whole video on the questions because, you know, typing it out in the comments section is just, it's a little hard. So I might need to make like even if it's a simple question, it's just easier to make a video on it for the most part. But yeah, and if you want any other stuff too, I've been looking at this a lot. You could do objective changes, spawning guys, certain areas, stuff like that, a whole bunch of stuff. I got a question about if you're able to give any unit above a team a command, like a platoon or a company a command. I looked into that and I do not think so. I haven't really seen any Ghost Recon missions actually do that in the scripting. I haven't seen anything like that in here. They said something about constants, and I looked through a lot of Ghost Recon missions, and none of them seem to have constants in them. So I'm not entirely sure what to do with these. But yeah, oh yeah, that's a lot of explaining. So yeah, if you made it here, thank you for watching. If you watch any of my other stuff, thank you for watching that, and I will see you next time.